porque yo soy vuestra madre, el todo blanco de la paz. La voz que llora, que clama dolor privado, y el dragón trata de devorar la palabra del Señor.
Hola hermanos, bendecido día en Cristo y María. Les comparto aquí el testimonio del Padre Jim Blount, donde él nos cuenta esa visión que recibió rezando el Santo Rosario y de la forma como Dios castigará al mundo si es que no se convierte, si es que no se deja sobre todo de acabar con la vida de los más inocentes. Les dejo la entrevista a continuación.
Visions I received 2 years ago. I know I mentioned it to you before the show.
Yes, please. Yeah.
I was in let's say the northeastern part of the United States of America, and I had been preaching in one of those states, and I had 24 hours off before I had to travel again. So I had a deacon friend of mine take me to a monastery nearby, out in the woods, to have 24 hours of quiet prayer. We took a rosary walk together about in the afternoon on my day there, through miles and miles of trails. This was about 2 years ago. And I will never forget what happened, because I am used to supernatural phenomena and miracles, but this was of a different dimension what occurred. As we finished our first rosary out in the woods, we came to a clearing in the middle of the woods. It was a giant clearing, like 50 or 60 feet wide, at least, for the power lines to go through the forest from one city to another. We were out in the middle of the forest, this giant clearing. We finished our first rosary, and I stopped, and I heard a sound, and I turned to my right. And I know this is going to sound incredible, and this is not meant to scare anybody, but maybe to alert everybody who hears this. I've never shared this publicly, only with a few personal friends. And I want to share it now, just because I think that it's serious enough to warrant at least praying about. When I turned to my right, I heard the sound of something moving. There were only two people out there in the clearing, in the woods. And I saw to my right an army in the woods. I saw them like 3D, and they were not Americans. They were coming from another country. And I saw them marching. They were, to be honest with you, they were Oriental. Let me just leave it at that for now. They were Oriental men. They all had rifles. A huge army was marching across the field. They came so close, they almost stepped on my toes as they walked by. They couldn't see me, but I could see them. And I realized, as we were praying our rosary, that the Blessed Virgin was showing me, this is what is about to happen unless everything changes in our country. For instance, we have to stop killing our unborn children, and never call ourselves Catholic and support abortion. That's a satanic lie. We have to stop killing our children for one thing, and stop mutilating them for another. Well, this army marched right by me. I saw them. Our Lady made me see this was about to happen in America's future very soon. This was 2 years ago. We continued our rosary walk. I shared with the deacon what happened. He himself received another vision. We continued our walk. We were praying for this country. We went to another part of the trails, about another half hour down, finished the second rosary. We were looking at something in the woods. There was a crucifix there. It was beautiful, right? I heard the sound of marching again. Now, we're the only two men out there. I turned to my right, and there is another army from another country. And maybe I could just say this out loud. They were Russian. It was Russian soldiers were marching from the other direction towards us. Hundreds of Russian soldiers in battle fatigue and rifles. They couldn't see us, but I could see them. Again, we had to step back as they marched by. And Our Lady made me see, this is about to happen in the near future. unless your country repents. So I want to share this first time publicly, not to scare anybody. This is, you might say, a military prophecy, but God cannot protect a country that slaughters and murders its children. He cannot. Then God would not be God. He would be going against himself. God is a God of justice and integrity. Besides the fact he's a God of love, of charity. And so the times we're living in, we must take up our rosaries now. That's the easiest and best thing that all of us can do. And by the way, I have Protestant friends who pray the rosary every day. All of us can pray the rosary. And if you're atheist and you're watching this, I love you and God loves you. Get a rosary and pray it too, because you'll help to save this country. But that is our spiritual weapon. We're in very dangerous times, very dangerous times. And as Doug pointed out, this is 2 years ago. Now, what has happened in the last few months? Russia and China have made an alliance, and there are two leaders.
Right.
I saw these two armies, one half hour after the other, marching through our country. So we are in trouble. If we do not wake up, if we don't listen to the prophecies, the approved prophecies like at Fatima, if we don't listen to them and respond, then God has no other choice than to wake us up physically through a chastisement. So I think this is what we're all sensing. Something big is on the way. And I would think, it has to happen. How many more innocent babies do we have to murder before God intervenes? How many more? We've already killed more than 65 million in this country alone. Alone in this country.